Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged, and this is the Your Answers Cannot Be Books tag for 2024. So welcome back to the channel if that is the case. Yes, a nice quick little tag for you today. This is the Your Answers Cannot Be Books tag for 2024. I have seen this one before a long time ago, so I assume this must be an updated version. So a good time to do it on the last day of 2024. I was tagged in this tag by Nicole over at Nicole's Bookish Nook, so thank you very much, Nicole, for that tag. And this was created by the Book Buds and Cobalt Dragon, so I will link to all of those folks' channels in the description as always. So let's dive straight in to the questions for this one then. Prompt number one is, what's something that you own way too many of other than books? I suppose video games. I have quite a collection of video games, most of which are digital though, so not in terms of physical things. I don't own many physical at all, but I do have a lot more than I can play, than I can get through. My pile of sort of video game shame is probably not quite as close as my reading sort of pile, but it's up there. So yeah, probably video games. I think the biggest thing is just art materials in general, and yes, I have been working as an artist and designer for the last 15 years nearly, so it's bound to have accumulated. But there's probably a lot of stuff that I just don't really need. One thing specifically which I'm terrible for is pens. I love pens, all different sorts of pens. I have a little sort of storage unit, which I'm just looking at, with like 8 drawers in. And I think 4 of those drawers are full of pens, different sorts of pens, paint pens, marker pens, pens and pencils, different sorts of fine liner pens, different colour and different sort of size of fine liner pens, specialist pens, watercolour pens. It's like just pens, all the pens. I do use them, I have to say, I do use a lot of them, but I probably don't need quite as many as I have. Okay, prompt number 2 then is, what's something you do for fun other than reading? I have quite a lot of stuff actually that I like to do for fun outside of reading. Some of it can be done whilst reading, which is always good. The things that can't or I don't do simultaneously with reading or listening to audiobooks. Hiking. I do love to go hiking when weather permits, but I couldn't read or listen whilst I'm hiking. I like to hear the actual natural sounds when I'm out. But yeah, I love to get out into the hills, out into the outdoors, but particularly just into the hills. Gaming, video gaming, yeah, love that. That is my kind of other love outside of reading. So when I'm not reading and I have the time, then I'm gaming really late at night generally, when my wife's gone to bed and the TV is free. I will put games on. Writing, which certainly is for fun, even though I kind of do want to make something of it, in terms of career, if you like, as a string to my bow with career. It's for fun as well. I love it because it's fun. Same with making art. Still do that for fun. Things that I can do whilst I'm listening to audiobooks, which are kind of double fun then. Needlecraft, cross stitch, that kind of thing. Haven't done any in a while, but Crystal from Fibre Artsy just released a video recently talking about her urge to get back into her cross stitch stuff, and it gave me the kick really to kind of get going again. So I'm going to be doing some of that in the new year. And model making, I love making models from kits, things like that. Um, so yeah, that kind of thing I can do, you know, as long as I've got something to do with my hands when I'm listening to an audiobook, that I tend to find that that's when I actually absorb the information from the book better. So yeah, making models or, you know, sewing, things like that, that I can kind of partly go do on autopilot. Um, that kind of thing is great fun as well. Okay, prompt number three then. What's something special or important to you on your nightstand other than your books? Well, I don't read in bed, so my books are never on my nightstand. My nightstand, or my bedside table, as I would call it, it's a dumping ground. It is a place that is entirely practical stuff, if not just the general detritus of the day. It is, you know, pocket change, receipts, my wallet, my phone when I've gone to bed, things like that. It has nothing really of importance on it, you know, that lives there. Well, I suppose the one thing you could say is important to me is my TENS machine. I have a TENS machine, so I have some nerve issues in my neck and my back, and the only thing that solves the pain when I get to like the nerve pain of that is a TENS machine. So that lives on my nightstand because I have to go and lie on the bed and use it. But not that exciting, really, is it? But it is important. So yeah, but no, nightstand. It's there. It has a use for dumping things on, but other than that, that's it. um, okay, prompt number four then. What's something that you buy at a bookstore other than books? I rarely, if ever, buy anything in a bookstore other than books. If I'm in a bookstore, I'm looking to buy books. I ignore most of the rest of the stuff that might be in there. If it's got a cafe and I've been in there for a while browsing, which is likely, then I will have a coffee and a piece of cake or something like that. Occasionally I'll buy gifts, like just little gifts. Like this Christmas, I got my wife a couple of mini jigsaw puzzles, like really mini jigsaw puzzles. I think one was kind of an illustration of the of a sort of scene from The Great Gatsby, and the other one was kind of a Pride and Prejudice one. Because they're little stocking fillers, that kind of thing. So around Christmas time, I might just have a browse and see what's there, but very rarely, to be honest. I go in there for books and I come out with books, and sometimes full of cake. Okay, prompt number five then. What's a fun gift you've been given other than the books or gift cards meant for books? Lots of stuff, but I think some of my favourite things are like model or art kits. My sister's particularly good at finding model kits, things like that. Even or whether it's Lego or nano block type things or little kind of wooden things like this. This is one that I got recently and that I did. Little wooden ship. And I've got another one nearly finished downstairs of that. So yeah, stuff like that I really enjoy doing. As I've said before, you know, I can do that whilst I've got an audiobook on. I think some of the like most interesting gifts have been over the years. Things like my mum bought me, my wife, and my sister all like a chocolate making workshop. This was years ago when my sister was just getting into sort of thinking about starting her own business as a chocolatier. And yeah, my mum bought us a workshop with a chocolatier in Derbyshire near where I live. That was really good. We went out to the Peak District and spent the afternoon making chocolate and eating chocolate, a lot of chocolate, and learning about how chocolate was made and history, all that kind of thing. I like things like that. The same as my mum also bought the three of us a kind of walking with alpacas trip. So we went for a hike with some alpacas over in Yorkshire one year. That was hilarious and lovely. I like things like that. So those kind of gifts, like activity type gifts, those are some. I've had some great ones of those over the years. Okay, prompt number 6 then. What's a YouTube channel you watch that's not related to books? Um, okay, I've got a few because I do watch quite a bit of YouTube outside of BookTube. Um, Outdoor channels are often what I tend to gravitate towards, away from books. So one that I particularly like is Scotland's Mountains, which is a lovely fella called Murray, who just goes around Scotland, goes out on day trips near where he lives over on the sort of eastern side, or goes further afield and does like multi-day trips, does cycling, does hiking, things like that. Likes to go up and try and bag the Munros, things like that. But he's just a really chilled guy, and like you get some fantastic scenery, and it's just a really relaxing thing to watch. And yeah, he's got some great photography as well. He's a good photographer, so I really enjoy his stuff. And then somebody who's doing something slightly less kind of chilled is, and I might pronounce his name wrong, but Jeff Pelletier, who is an ultra runner from Canada, and he does a lot of stuff, not just on sort of the big races that he wants to take part in, so things like the UTMB, the Ultra Trail Mont Blanc race, and some of the big 100-miler ultra races in the States, things like that. He also does a lot of kind of training videos and what we call fast packing, so doing these kind of really long distance runs, but not quite a kind of competition sort of speed at all. But he's just, the way that he does it is great if you're a lay person to that kind of sport. I'm not an ultra runner. I'm not even a general runner. I don't run. But I like to watch. For me it is a decent spectator sport when it's filmed well, and again you get to see the environment and the landscape, and it's beautiful. And I'm just he's got a really great kind of outlook on approaching challenges, things like that. So yeah, I really enjoy his stuff. Then I watch quite a lot of gaming channels, as you'd expect. Again, interested in video games. One that I do particularly enjoy is Skill Up, who does a lot of news type stuff and reviews, things like that. But Aussie guy, really sort of straightforward, quite funny. Generally one I know I can trust as well, in terms of if he likes a game, I probably will get on with it quite well. But yeah, he has a weekly news show, which I find really useful to catch up on all the gaming news that's been going on. And the final one, which is Warhammer related, so it's quite new to me because I've just got into just got interested in Warhammer in the last year, and that's Eons of Battle. Jay is the guy who presents this largely, and this is bits of painting the models, building the models, painting the models, kit bashing, things like that. That's the stuff I really love because I have started painting myself. But he also talks about kind of news and what's coming out in terms of models, things like that. He does go into kind of more of the game side of things, which, whilst I don't understand a lot of it, I do find it quite intriguing. So it's quite nice to sort of listen to him chat about that. But he covers loads of different miniatures games outside of Warhammer as well. So I've kind of found other models and things like that I might want to have a crack at painting, stuff like that. Again, just a really lovely, inclusive guy who's kind of got a really positive approach to painting and trying stuff out. Somebody who really loves to just try new things out. So yeah, really enjoy watching his kind of journey as he builds lots of these huge armies. So the final prompt then is to tag some people. I won't tag anyone specific in this one, but I will throw it open and say, if you fancy the look of this tag and you haven't done it yet, then please consider yourself tagged. But that will do from me today, and from me this year. In fact, this is the last video of this year for me. So I will leave it there for today and wish you all a very, very happy new year. I hope you've got fantastic reading ahead of you in 2025. Do drop your thoughts in the comments below. It's always lovely to hear from you folks. I'll be back on Friday with some more bookish thoughts or a haul or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what yet, but I do hope you'll join me for whatever that turns out to be. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.